So today we're going to take a look at this Telecaster design. It is a Squire Telecaster type model, and the reason that I wanted to do this video in particular was because I get questions from students about changing their strings. And this one in particular belongs to a student of mine. It was gifted to her, and when she received it, the strings were in desperate need of getting a string changed, having new strings put on. And there are sort of rules about when and how you should do that, but there's a couple of really important concepts that I think we can cover really fast that kind of explain the mechanics of how you think about changing guitar strings. This isn't going to be a video. I'm not going to actually show you how to do a string change today. That's going to be coming in an update later. We'll have a video put out for that. But let's see if we can zoom in here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. I might have to actually take some photos and edit them in. There's a lot of rust. I mean, this is pretty bad. Coloration of the strings is going to change because the strings are metal. And so metal strings are going to react to the environment they're in. If the environment is hot or cold, the strings will expand or contract, just like everything else. Now, you probably have learned this in science class in high school, but that's what solid objects do. The molecules will speed up at higher temperatures, or they'll slow down at lower temperatures, or something like that. So what happens is that your strings can go out of tune depending on what the temperature is doing. If you take it from a nice warm room, it's February 2016 right now. So if you take this outside and it's probably 30 degrees out there and just hung on to it for a few minutes and then brought it back inside, chances are really good that your guitar will go out of tune much easier than if you just left it in the building at 72 or whatever you set your place at. Now, another thing that can affect the strings themselves, and this isn't really related to the tuning as much, but there is ambient moisture in the air, and that moisture will react with the strings and cause the corrosion that you see along the length of the strings. And as a general rule, you want to look around at your strings, and when you start to notice they'll get darker in certain places. Here we have a lot right here. This one right here has a little bit. I know you can't really see it in the video. You're going to have to take my word for it. If you look at the string, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more rusty color. There's no actual buildup of rust right here. It's just a discoloration. And that comes from playing, too. The oils in your hands will also affect those strings. And over time, the strings will just degrade until eventually they break. They get kind of brittle because the moisture from the air, the oils in your hands, if your hands are sticky, I always tell my students to make sure that they wash their hands before they play guitar so that they don't add anything onto the string that's going to make them break faster. So you'll see a little bit of a discoloration. When you start to see a lot of that, that's a good indication that you should be changing your strings. Another way is when you run your finger over a string, especially these this high E string, the B or the G strings, if you run your finger over that and you can feel and notice the difference, that's a good time. This one is really bad. You can actually see a buildup of rust on these strings. And this is going to make playing more difficult. It's also going to make the strings compromised in those locations, because the more rust there is, the less strength the string is going to have in those places. So for this particular guitar, what we're going to do is we're going to take all these strings off, and then we're going to clean it a little bit. This looks like it has been stored for a while. There's some discoloration here. I'm not sure if that's dust or mold, but we'll get in there and find out. We're going to clean it up real nice, and then we're going to put the nice new strings on it. And if you're interested in watching an actual string change, stay tuned. We will be posting a video of that shortly. We died last night as I was trying to finish up that string change, so I'm not going to be able to show you how it went. That was for a student, so I ended up taking that guitar to a student's house. But after my battery died, then I had another project guitar, which is over here. One of the artists here has asked me to restring this one. I put new Martin brand phosphor bronze strings on this one. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but they're all shiny and new. There's no gunk on them or no rust like the last guitar had. So this was done for a friend, but the real reason that I'm going to do this one is so that you know that the battery died last night, and also I want to show you a sneak peek at these new CBI Prism cables. I'm going to do a review of this in an upcoming video. This cable, I've had another one like this for about 10 years, and so there's a reason I'm doing these. I just got 2 new ones in here to the studio, so stay tuned for the next video, and we'll see you then.